and I loved the show, but I was very surprised as to why they wanted me, because I thought I would not be an obvious choice for what the show was doing. And I have a tendency in my work to have a certain kind of violence or, aggressive humor.
For me, there are actually two genres, music that I like and music that I don't like.
Which sometimes people accused us of, they put these songs out, but they were not in the film, but they were there in the score.
Like Bollywood has itself become a kind of a genre. Like that sound sounds like Bollywood. And, it's starting to, the snake is trying to bite its own tail probably. And I feel like there is a sense of freshness that is required in the music scene.
There's a certain kind of humor Veer has, a certain way of looking at the world.
Exploring music beyond 90 seconds, and he said that he's very excited about it. He took it up as a challenge.
Hello, welcome to Screen.
Hi.
So we're here to talk about your show Band Waale. And Ankur, you're the co-creator with Sanand Kirkire, and you've directed an episode as well. So how important was it for you to direct an episode, and why was it only one episode?
So my role in the show was, after we finished writing with Swanand, was to make sure that everything else is taken care of and kind of like, fill in wherever there were gaps. Our schedule was really tight and hectic. There were certain scenes in different episodes that kind of like needed two sets to be running at the same time. That's when I came in and directed those things, just to take the load off Akshat. He was the main guy who ran the ship, and he designed the whole, the language of the show in terms of how it was moving, how it was constructed. And I was just making sure that he runs his part smoothly and could take some load off him.
Akshat, how was the experience of aligning yourself with Ankur, with Swanand? Because I was discussing with them that they're such diverse, forces. And so what did you bring to the table, and how tough or easy was it to align with them?
Well, what I brought to the table, hopefully Ankur can answer that better. But for me, I've known of Swanand and Ankur much before we collaborated on this. I've heard his music. I've heard Swanand's music and lyrics. So I've always admired them as creatives. I was actually kind of surprised when I got a call from them. I remember the first time we spoke was on a Zoom call. I was in Los Angeles, and I was surprised from what they were telling me. And I'd read the pages in advance, and we were discussing the show, and I loved the show, but I was very surprised as to why they wanted me, because I thought I would not be an obvious choice for what this show was doing. And certainly if people have seen my other work, I don't think they would reach out. And I appreciated that they did, so when we had a conversation, we were actually, there's an ease with people straight off, and we were talking and we were discussing. And it was very comfortable right from our initial conversations. And I had questions, I had notes, I had feedback unsolicited at that point, but they were so open and receptive, and we already began to talk about structure. I had some questions, how the pilot started, and it was just so comfortable straight off, and they were so open to this. There was no defensiveness, or to say, and there was no, we don't want to. So we had that conversation. I said, okay, that's that, and maybe they'll think about it. But they came back pretty quickly and said, we'd love to work together. And it was actually one of the easiest decisions, certainly for me, it was. And I was really, really happy to be on the project.
Would you say that Band Waale is your, for the lack of a better word, most family-friendly project yet?
No, that's the truth. That's not for lack of a better word. It's the absolute truth. And it is also great for me, as a writer, you sometimes begin to play in a certain area, and you plow that same furrow over and over again. And as a creative, you want to be shaken. And that's what Ankur and Swanand's writing did for me, because it's deeply human. It's very emotional. It goes to places in a way where it's not afraid to wear its heart on its sleeve. And I have a tendency in my work to have a certain kind of violence or aggressive humor, which really sort of, for me, it was wonderful to be in this space, to be able to see if I could stretch myself as a director, and work to the voice that they had, that they'd set, and it was just really fun for me to do.
Prerna, so OML has had such a rich history of comedy or comedy shows, comedy stuff in India. How do you think Band Waale adds to that kind of that wagon of comedy that we have?
So before comedy, music
Yeah.
was something that we started off with, and I think for us, just storytelling in its core is really important, and an honest storytelling. And so when we spoke to Swanand sir and Ankur Tewari, and the everything that OML stands for, which is lived experiences, which is amazing storytelling, music at the core of it, I think it was just the right project for us, and everything fell in place so beautifully that I think as OML, it was really, really important for us to at least back this story.
Ankur, I read somewhere that you said that music in your head doesn't have genres, that it's created by music labels. Do you believe that, and is this show an example of that?
I mean, definitely, I feel like, for me, there are actually two genres, music that I like and music that I don't like. And this show definitely has music as its soul, music and poetry, I must say. There's a set of poetry written by Kausar Munir, supported by Swanand Kirkire, who's done his bit of in poetry as well as lyrics. So it is definitely has music at its core. All the three main characters are linked through music. They're very diverse characters, come from completely different worlds. As we had said, once they are kind of two sides of the track, and the girl is going on her track. And what brings them together is the honesty in which they approach their music and poetry.
Akshat, you've also had your, I don't know, connection with music. I think you co-wrote some lyrics in Delhi Belly.
I mean, I co-wrote some. I had some hook lyrics. I wrote some songs. Yeah. So I've done
How
that.
was that experience like? Working with Amitabh Bhattacharya, Ram Sampath, because it's such an iconic album even today.
No, it was great fun. I mean, I don't pretend to be a musician. I mean, I wish I was. I mean, when you're
He
in
does
front
play
of,
music though.
so
As in, what does he play?
He plays guitar secretly.
secretly. So, but when you're with true musicians, these guys are at a different level. It's a different thing about being a bedroom musician. Certainly, what good lyrics can do quickly. It's a very powerful way of writing, and I've done a little bit. I'm not at the level of Swanand, or there's many great lyricists in our industry. Amitabh Bhattacharya, certainly one of them, who wrote. I mean, I wrote the hook lyric, but he wrote DK Bose is his song. So it's one of those things where you try to stretch your muscle out a little bit, and you see if you can get away with it. I mean, I'm open to doing it off and on, but I don't pretend that I have any expertise at it.
But something very interesting I interject here about Akshat is that he is actually a very musical person. His playlists have often inspired my other work as well, apart from Band Waale. And it's always interesting to see how he sees the scene with music. He has very interesting choices. Even when he's editing the scenes, you can see a sense of rhythm even in the edit, and you can spot a musician in the way they express, in the way they speak, in the way they express visually. And that definitely at the core, probably I would say less practiced, but is a musician at core.
Isn't it true that you also shot the Delhi Belly songs came much after the film?
Well, so we knew that Delhi Belly was never going to be a film with actual songs in it, except for Ja Chudail, which was there for a specific reason. There was a dramatic reason for it. But we were not going to break into song and dance. We were going to use that as soundtrack. And ultimately, those songs ended up being used for our marketing to break that up, which sometimes people accused us of, they put these songs out, but they were not in the film, but they were there in the score. So that was always the intent, to be used like that.
Preranaa, so OML has such a rich association and long association with Prime Video. we've had shows like Tathastu and Pushpavali. So Pushpavali, which I'm a huge fan of.
Amazing.
So I don't know. I know it's too late, but can we expect more of those?
I mean, and yes, we hope so. The Prime team is around here only.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel what's been amazing working with Amazon Prime Video is that they've always sort of given us our space and really been collaborators and given us, like for at least OML, right, where when we started off, we really just wanted to ensure that our stories are put out there, and they gave us that platform. So I think the collaboration so far has been amazing, and hopefully much more to come.
Ankur, I also read that there's one thing that I just kind of researched, that what is common between you and Swanand Kirkire. And there were some videos from Commune. And then there was this random line in an interview where you said that it was a long answer. In between that, there was one line that you were quoting the example of his song Bavaraman and saying that it does not sound like a film song at all. So I just wanted you to elaborate. Why did you say that? Like, why does it not sound like a film song?
For me, like, that's my journey in Bombay. I come from a space of independent music, independent in the sense of the spirit of how it's made. A lot of the film songs in last few years have started sounding like Bollywood has itself become a kind of a genre. Like that sound sounds like Bollywood. It's starting to, the snake is trying to bite its own tail probably. And I feel like there is a sense of freshness that is required in the music scene, especially in the movie scene, where any kind of music, whether it's folk, whether it's electronica, whether it's jazz, whether it's classical, should be able to find a place in a movie if the scene demands it and if it elevates the scene or the movie. Bavaraman being an example, in a stereotypical cliche manner, how people define Bollywood music to a person who's not heard all of Bollywood music would say, it doesn't sound like a film song. But that's the beauty of the song, that when it applies itself to a film, it really blossoms a film in a very interesting manner.
Yeah. Akshat, do you think this, what he said, that snake biting its own tail?
The Uros Buros.
Yeah. Also,
it's called the Uros Buros. Yeah.
Uros Buros. Yeah. Does it also, imply on writing and just basically releasing movies? And by movies, I mean your kind of movies, say a Delhi Belly or Kalakandi. Like, even the success of Delhi Belly did not make Kalakandi an easy affair.
No, not at all, actually.
And then enter like Prime Video and there's band Waale. Do you think now it's the compartmentalization is that clear, that kind of your school of comedy can only be on streaming and not in theaters?
Well, I hope not, man, because the thing is, ultimately, there is an ecosystem that functions a certain way, and the longer it works like that, the more it tends to stay in that path. So just like Ankur said, when you're even trying to make music in an independent way, it's how you're coming at it, what you're willing to do, how you're trying to break what becomes the norm, because there's a comfort to how the machine works. Which is not to say that the audience is not out there looking for something that's different. It's along the way when you're trying to fight the pipeline, is really what it is. Because the audience is open to all kinds of stuff. Ultimately, people respond to whatever speaks to them, whether it's a story, whether it's music. People don't sit down and judge in terms of genre, which is actually great. I mean, the audience in a way is very egalitarian, You can, as long as you don't bore them, as long as you hook them, they will show up, ultimately. So when things work or don't work, I mean, there's many factors that go into that, but hopefully, the thing is there's different mountains to climb, right? If you fit into the way the machine works, probably it's a little bit easier, but it's never easy. Making any kind of creative work is not easy. So, anyone who's doing anything, you have to just sort of appreciate the effort that goes into it. But you hope that as long as you keep pushing and you try to expand the boundaries of what is happening, that the audience will show up. One of the biggest examples, Andaz Apna Apna showed up and it was a flop, but but it was a film with great merit and great humor. It's only the audience found it eventually. So that disconnect is out of your hands, man. You know, once the work goes out and meets the world, whether the timing is right, whether the people are there, you never really know. But I've noticed good work always tends to find an audience. It might not be immediate, might be later. You know how you say a cult film actually is a curse. A cult film is a film that no one showed up to watch when it releases, you know. So ideally, you don't want that. You want people to connect. But it's out of your hands, man. You can only, what you do in terms of making it, getting together, that's all you have control over. And then you let the universe, this is a gambler's business, man. You throw your dice and then you see how the odds play out.
Did you watch Happy Patel and saw that Delhi Belly?
I did. A lot of my friends were involved with it. So of course, yeah. It was interesting.
Like, what was your reaction there?
No, I mean, it was great. It's a skewed kind of film in terms of, you know, there's a certain kind of humor Veer has, there's a certain way of looking at the world. There's multiple layers at what was going on. And you want to always go out and support people who are, again, pushing against what is accepted, you know, and what has been done normally. So it was a strange, there's a Veer Das kind of comedy, there's elements of Monty Python almost, absurdity, his own special brand of lunacy, and you've got to applaud that someone like Amir gets behind stuff. You know, he's like, you know, he's there to put it out and really support it.
Yeah. Finally, since Yashraj Mukhate has done the music, is there a favorite Yashraj reel or creation that you're a fan of?
My favorite Yashraj reel is the reel that's going to come out.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's very interesting because in the music, as I said, there's been core of for it, both Swanand and I being musicians. The choice of Yashraj also coming from the script calling out for it. Our character DJ Psycho has elements of Yashraj in him as well. So it was an interesting choice to call him, and then he accepting and him making the music, and then exploring music beyond 90 seconds. And he said that he's very excited about it. He took it up as a challenge, and he really took the direction well, and he really executed music impeccably.
And I have to say, I mean, as he was working on it, Ankur was a really nurturing presence. He was like almost like this protective producer who was there to say, you know, any stress, you can feel that pressure, right? But he was there to say,
I've been
you got
nurtured
this.
by women. my music career started.
See, what goes around comes around. So everyone was there for each other on this. It was really.
But yes, the music of the show is something that is very, very, very dear to all of us, and we are really excited for everyone to hear it.
I do want to, since we're talking about music, I want to call out Sid Shirodkar, who did our background score. And just incredible. I mean, he's also such a eclectic musician, and he's so skillful in serving the story and the drama. You know, he's actually one of our best composers working today. Just an incredible guy.
I do think that eclectic would be our like primary takeaway from this show as well. We're looking forward to watching it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.